the Christmas present that my parents got me, it was when Spy Kids had come out, and I was like, yo, like that's like I want to have pigtails that twirl around and let me fly into the air. I want to have all this shit. And so they got me some spy gear. And I'm like, all this shit, like it doesn't work, but one thing actually did. It was a listening device that you plugged headphones into it, and it looked like a little miniature satellite. And if you pointed it, you could it worked so good. You could hear, I think it advertised like 50 feet or something. It went well beyond that. You could hear so fucking good. I was like, damn. So I got really into spying, and it became it became a real problem.
Parents' worst nightmare.
It became a real I would climb up my fence and listen into the neighbor's house. I would I would take it to school in my backpack and try to listen into different classrooms. It was the first time in my life where I was actually getting in trouble for misbehaving, because they would catch me at the neighbor's house and stuff like that, listening. One of my best friends lived across the street, and so I would go into his backyard because I thought that, we're best friends, I'm allowed back here, and I would point it into their house, and I could hear things. And so that but when it really got to a point of no return was one time as I progressed in my espionage career. I learned the most important thing was not the gadgetry or the stunts. It was being in the right place at the right time. That required planning and patience. So I thought to myself, if I want to catch something real juicy, I got to plan ahead. And I knew that when my dad got an important phone call, he would go into the garage, into his truck, and he'd sit in his truck and take it. Because if it was a work call, this is when I was a kid, our house was really small, and he would take his work calls in his truck. So one day, I decided I'm going to be in the right place at the right time. I took my little spy satellite. I think I took some Captain Crunch cereal and a little bottle of milk, and I laid down in the bed of my dad's truck. And
oh my gosh!
Paige, you were watching. He doesn't do this now.
Now I just break into the house.
Okay, perfect.
So
you version.
What? So lo and behold, I was out there for a good hour and a half, 2 hours. I remember being super fucking bored. I was like, God, this sucks. is this really the life of a spy? And I thought all I need is my first big break. And then I'll be off to the races. I thought, maybe Spy Kids was going to call me and be like, you did some great work. Exposing the fact that your dad was fucking his secretary. That, it may have ruined your family, but it boosted your espionage career. Yeah. Well done. Some secrets aren't meant to be discovered. But I'm laying back there, and lo and behold, hour and a half later, my dad comes into the garage. I was like, fuck, shit, oh my God. And I was fully prepared that he would be like, what are you doing back here? But he just walked right by me and got in his truck. And at this point, it became real. I was like, oh my God, I'm really spying on my dad. Because most of the time, they knew I was running around the house with a little satellite. Right. He really didn't know I was there. And I was like, this is really serious. This is real now. And I was like,
okay, but your dad taking phone calls in his car?
My parents did that too because me and my sister were too loud.
Yeah, because he ran his own business, so a lot of times it was scheduling calls. He's a window cleaner, so it was scheduling clients, and we were just really loud. And he didn't have a house work phone. It was just a cell phone that he would go to his car. That was his office. To this day, he's still during the work day, he'll have a break where he'll get his appointment book and just and he does it in his car. It's always been his thing. But he just masturbates and stuff like that.
Sick.
So he'll call the phone sex line.
Make sure it's really private.
Yeah, and but unfortunately, the cops busted him for window tint. So now there's no window tint. He gets to wave at passerby, and he's like, "Oh, gotta get back on." But at this particular juncture, it was not a masturbation. Thank God. I don't know what I would. But I'm like, "Oh my God, it's so big," But anyway. He's on the phone, and I hear him talking, and he's like, yeah, that works perfectly, Saturday afternoon. And he was like, yeah, no, we can meet you there. He said, just, have her ready. And he was like, no. And he said, no, they don't know. It's going to be a total surprise. No, when the last time they asked for a dog, we said no. They have no idea. Aww. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because me and my sister had been begging my dad for a dog for a year. When I say me and my sister, I mean First of all, I mean my sister and I, because I went to high school English class. Second of all, I mean just my sister, because I didn't want a fucking dog. My life was perfect. My sister had been begging my parents for a dog, and now he had just said that we were going on Saturday. Oh, and then he said the end of the conversation was, okay, I'll meet you 1 p.m. Bass Pro Shop parking lot. And that was, so I was like, oh my God, I just got all the fucking details. Who do I call? You know? Ghostbusters? I don't fucking know.
Who do I call?
And
like
so
7.
I felt horrible. I was like, oh my God, like the surprise is over. And I was like, I wonder if this is really going down. So it was like a Wednesday. Saturday, we drive to Bass Pro Shop, and I'm like, oh my God, it's really fucking happening.
But did you tell your sister?
No,
Any
I was,
details?
because I was so scared of getting caught. I thought there's no way I can expose myself. It'd be like telling on myself. You know, it's
Right.
like, I just can't do it. It's, I don't even know of a good example, but like, I know that phrase, like, everybody gets what you mean when you're like, oh, I can't tell on myself, you know? But,
Yeah.
So we go to Bass Pro Shop, and we go by one of the big boats out front, and lo and behold, this lady comes walking up with a fucking dog. And I was like, oh, a dog. You know, my sister's freaking out. She's crying.
Oh, God.
It's this huge, like,
Sweet.
huge deal. And my parents cannot figure out why I was just like, cool, you know? So they
Yeah.
thought I hated the dog, which I did. But only for a little while. Only for like 7 years. And
Only for like 7 hours. No, 7 years.
7
actually.
years. And then I murdered it. So it was like perfect, you know? It was great. But I don't waste. We cooked it. We ate it. No, I ended up loving the dog. But they couldn't figure out why I wasn't surprised. They thought I just hated it. And no, it was because I already knew what the fuck was going to happen.
Right.
And
It's
I
hard to
think
act
I told them like
surprised.
10 years later.
Yeah.
Like I never told them, and they were like, what? And because they wondered why I retired from espionage.
You're like, I've heard enough.
Yeah.
That was my, treasure.
Like,
That
I'm
was
sure some people in the CIA retire after they're forced to like waterboard somebody for like 2 hours, but this was my breaking point. I was like, I've seen too much. I know too much. The world is ugly when you get down to its underbelly and are exposing secrets, and I just couldn't take it.